Hey y'all, welcome back to my live broadcast. I'm Shanta Prince and I work with women coaches and professionals and I help them to build a powerful personal brand online. And then I help them to create offers to sell and then I help them to sell those offers. So if you're looking to turn your expertise into a profitable program or a profitable course or anything that you can sell online, I am your girl. So today I'm going to talk to you about how to elevate your personal brand and in a way that leads to you being able to close more sales. And I specifically want to talk about it in this from this angle because this is what I see a lot. Hey, lady, this is what I see a lot of people struggling with when it comes to being able to close the sale. So the other day, I was listening to a marketer, and he was talking about how he turns people away when they come to him to run ads, a paid advertisement. And this is what he does for a living. So he writes ads, he runs ads on various platforms. So he said that he refuses people when they come to him and they haven't done a few, they don't have a few things in place. So if they come, they're like, "Hey, can you run me some ads? I'll pay you to run my ads." For him, it's not about the money because he's very well aware that these ads are not going to work. I'm not going to take your money because these ads are not going to work because you don't have A, B, and C in place yet. And so a lot of that comes down to sales as well. I see a lot of people trying to skip straight into selling and they don't have certain things in place first. Now, what I teach my clients is I teach them how to start when they're first starting their online, the online portion of what they do, because a lot of people do things for a living. So, like professionals, for example, they do things, nurses, doctors, they do things in their profession, and now they're looking to, expand online. So that doesn't mean that they're new to what they're doing. It just means they're new to doing it online. And so, when they're just starting out online, I teach my clients how to start with people who they already know, because one of the keys to building a powerful personal brand is to establish trust. And when you're first starting out, you may not have an audience yet, and you may not have an audience of people that you've built trust with yet, but the people who you already know, you've already built trust with them. So you don't have to work so hard to build trust because these are people who are already in your network. And the other thing that comes with starting with where you are, starting with who you already know, is very powerful because, first of all, the people who you know, they already trust you. And the other thing is when people who you know refer people to you, that's automatic trust, right? Automatic authority because people, when you recommend somebody or something, your friends, your people, they trust you. So if I go to my friend and I say, "Hey, hey friend, I've got this person who can really help you to build, take your business to the next level," right? They're going to believe what I'm saying because they already trust me. And so that's why starting with where you already are, starting with who you know, is so powerful. So don't underestimate that. So I start out teaching my clients how to start with people they already know and how to tap into other networks from people they already know. So for example, if you know a good 20 people already who would be a great fit for your program, that's fantastic. But you may know another 20 people who know someone who should be in your program, right? And so I teach my clients how to tap into the 20 that they know who would be a great fit for their program, and then how to tap into other people's networks based on people who they already know. Okay. So, but the thing is after you start there, you gotta grow, right? You gotta grow up. And I say grow up and glow up at the same time, right? So you have to grow your business to the next level. And that's what I mean by growing up, is that you start from where you are, you start with the people you know for that first round of clients, right? But after that, you've got to put some work in to actually close more sales. So you start with your inner circle, you get some revenue in the door, you get that income coming in, and then you start putting other things in place so that you can keep the consistent flow of clients. And so when it comes to keeping consistent sales, the key is building a powerful personal brand. And what I mean by that is building a reputation of trust, building a reputation of a person who delivers on what they promise, and building a reputation of a person who can actually do what they say they can do, right? And the way that you do that is by showing up on a regular basis, right? Showing up and demonstrating what you can do. So my clients and I were joking on Tuesday night about how I talked about this concept on somebody's live podcast, and I had this idea of marketing like Jesus. And I was telling my clients how I said that on somebody's show, and then they went and used it in their marketing. And it was another a woman of faith, and she went and used it in her marketing. And I just thought it was just kind of funny, but we all, kind of laughed about that. But but the thing is, when I think about marketing like Jesus, I think about how he really showed up to serve people, but he demonstrated his gifts. And it was in the demonstration of his gifts that people started to realize, oh my goodness, like he can really do this. So he can really heal people. Oh, he must be from God, because he can heal people. He can do these things. And so when you are showing up and serving your people, I call it market. That's one of the examples of marketing like Jesus, is showing up and demonstrating who you are, demonstrating your gifts. So when the people who you're called to serve see you in action, they get excited about working with you. What I see with so many people is they want to get sales, but they don't show up, right? They just want to skip. This is what I talked about in the beginning, how some people, they just want to skip all the foundational pieces and get straight to selling, but they don't have those foundational pieces in place. So the number one thing that I'm always encouraging my clients to do is get on a regular content creation routine where they are putting out new content every single week. So if you're not on a regular routine of creating new content, you got to start there, right? Start there, because here's the thing. There are different kinds of buyers in your network. You have what we call in-market buyers. The in-market buyers are people who are ready to buy right now. The in-market buyers are the ones who, if you send them a direct message right now, they will close on the spot. You can send them the link, they'll put that card in and they'll buy right now, right? But you won't know that they're in market until you reach out to them, right? So some people, some of your next sales are going to be from you reaching out to them directly. Those are the in-market buyers. They're ready to buy. You've already built some kind of trust with them. But there's another type of buyer in your audience who they need a little bit more nurturing. They need to see you a little bit more. They need to build a little bit more trust. They need to see more of your content. I've had people who have attended my 9-day launches multiple times. Hey, Tara. I've had people who have attended my my launches multiple times, my master classes, and they'll join my program on like the third one or like the fourth one. Those are people who you need content to convert them, right? You need to build more trust with them, and they need more content, more nurturing before they convert, right? Meaning before they join your program. And so that's why when I teach my clients how to start from where they are, start with people who they know, right? The process is different. When you know people already, you can just get straight to the sale when you already know the people. But when you don't know the people, you got to go through a process of building trust. So it's different, right? So if you're just starting out, we're going to hit the ground running. We're going to get you some clients, get you some revenue in the door so you can get your income going. And then we're going to help you to build that brand so that you can continue to attract consistent sales. But the first thing is you've got to be creating content on a regular basis. Think about it like this. If you were going to work with someone, would you pay somebody who you never see? Right. I know I wouldn't. If I've never seen a person, I haven't seen their content, I don't know how they teach, I don't know their delivery style, I don't know what their beliefs are, I'm probably not going to buy, okay? So the number one is getting on a consistent content routine. That's one way to elevate your brand, because the more people see you, the more they start to trust you. The more they start to fall in love with who you are and your ideas. And and the interesting thing though is that some people will go the other way. Some people will be like, you know what? I don't like this part about this person. And that's okay, right? Because if they feel like that, they're not called to you anyway. Okay. But if they are called to you, they're going to fall in love with your personality and fall in love with who you are. So creating content is one of the foundational pieces of building an online brand. You cannot get too far without having content, right? And quality content. If you guys just look, you already know. If you look around, we're in a season or in a time right now where content is everything. There's content everywhere. And guess what? A lot of these big companies pay a lot of money for people to create content for them. So you've got to show up and serve. And when you show up and serve, it makes selling a lot easier. One of my clients mentioned that to me, how she stopped focusing so much on the selling part and really started saying, well, let me just show up and start serving people. And it changed her business because she started showing up, teaching, talking to her people, communicating with her audience, and it changed her business. And guess what happened? The sales started rolling in. So for example, if you do a live video every week and you talk about what it is that you do, or you teaching on a specific topic, somebody is going to see you and say, oh my goodness, I need more, right? Your content paves the way for sales. And so that's a really important part of elevating your brand. And the next thing is, it's not just about creating content. It's about the content itself as well. Okay. So I want to talk to you about when you're posting, when you're creating your content, how to really create high level content that attracts people. Now, one of the things that I teach inside of my program is I work with my clients on how to structure their posts. So if you're making a post and you're just talking about, family time, because for me on my personal profile, I have aunties and I have cousins and my dad. You guys have probably seen my dad commenting on all of my posts on my personal profile. But I have, people who are potential clients. I have clients. And then I also have, my aunties and my relatives and things like that too. So when I'm posting for business, you'll notice that usually I structure things a little bit differently. And I teach my clients how to write powerful posts that are elevating their brand and shifting the perception of their brand. Now, building a personal brand is about perception, right? Perception, not deception. You don't have to be anybody who you're not. You don't have to fool anybody. You could literally just be who you are and allow people to fall in love with you for who you are. So when I say that building a brand is about perception, it's about, what do your ideal clients perceive as valuable? What is something that's valuable to them? Now, when you're selling a coaching, what does a coaching client perceive as valuable, or a potential coaching client perceive as valuable? Well, I'm going to tell you one thing: showing up. That is perceived as value to them, because if you're showing up and you're delivering content, they're seeing you as the expert. They're seeing you as the go-to person. Okay. It shifts the perception of who you are, not just to your ideal clients, but to anyone who's watching. If their eyes are on you, to them, you are positioned as the expert, as the go-to person. So when you're posting content, it's really awesome to do the inspirational post, but you got to have more depth, right? You can't be just one dimensional. You have to have multiple dimensions to your brand, so that your clients, your potential clients, your audience, they can grasp the fullness of who you are, what you do, and what you represent. If you post encouraging stuff every single day, that does not close the sale. Now, it will help you to get visibility. On my business page, my public profile, my audience love good inspirational posts. They love it. If I post something, they'll share it. And hey, Renee, if I post something, they'll share it and they'll comment on it. They love that, right? And those have a place. But you cannot wake up every single day and post inspirational content all day, because nobody's going to really get to see who you are and understand your brand. Okay. So if you go back and you look at my LinkedIn or my Facebook page, then you will see an example of what I mean by allowing people to get the fullness of your brand. So you've got to be able to post in a way that is attracting your ideal clients. And let me tell you guys, don't underestimate the power of posting on social media. It may seem like, oh, I don't have to post, or I don't have to, I don't need to do this. It's very important for those ones who are on the fence. I've had people message me and join my program from a post that I made on social media. Okay. But the other thing is, over time, the more you're posting, then people will start to see you as a go-to person. And even if they're not your ideal client, they will have referrals for you, right? And let me tell you, referrals, that's a very powerful way to get clients. Referrals are so easy because when they come to you, they already know you and trust you. They feel like they know you and they trust you because a friend sent them. So they automatically believe what the friend says. If my friend says, if Renee if Renee messaged me and says, Shanta, you need to go to this restaurant, it's so good. Guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna get up, I'm gonna get my purse and my keys. I'm going to this restaurant because first of all, I love food. But because I know Renee and Renee says this restaurant is good, I want to go try it out. So when people come to your headquarters, right? Your social media page or wherever it is that you're gathering your audience, and you should have a place where you're gathering your audience, and it should not end at social media. So right now, my clients and I and some of my alumni, we're working on getting their email list up and running because that's important as well, right? But we'll talk about that on another day. So the thing is, you as the expert, as the coach, as the consultant, as the service provider, you have to be able to express your thoughts, your ideas. You've got to really focus on developing your thought leadership. See, a lot of people, they post the inspirational stuff and they're comfortable with that. But I really push my clients deeper than that and say, okay, well, what are your beliefs about what you do? What do you believe about your ideal clients? What do you believe about what's happening in your space? What are your beliefs about family? Remember when I said building a personal brand? A brand is about perception. What does your audience perceive as valuable? For my audience, my ideal clients are very focused on family. So their family time is something that's very important to them. So if I make a post and I say something like, I'm spending time with my family today, they perceive that's valuable to them, right? Because they have prioritized their family. So that's something that connects, they can relate to, that they can connect with, that when they see that, they feel connected to me, okay? They can see themselves in my story, in my life, and how I do things. But the thing is, for some people, if you go to their page, you don't see anything about what they do, or what they believe, how they see things. So, like, I always use one of my clients as an example. One of my clients is Natasha. Natasha, she believes that fitness should be fun, right? Whereas that is contrary to what a lot of people may believe or think. But that's one of her principles, that if she articulates that and expresses that to her audience, that's very attractive. And the thing is, it might be a little bit controversial, right? It might be a little bit disruptive when she comes out and says fitness should be fun. Some people may be looking at, no, because I want my clients to, I want my clients to sweat. I want them to hurt, and I want them to, and I'm just saying that because, listen, I came from the military. The way we work out is not like how normal people used to work out. I think they used to want us to hurt on purpose. But anyway, but they can do all of that with Natasha, but they're also going to have fun doing it. And so you have to really think about, what are the things that you believe. This is a part of elevating your brand, because now people can get a feel for who you are, right? So remember earlier when I used the example, when I talked about the marketer who said, I refuse people when they come to me to run ads and they don't have the foundational things in place. He does not work with them, because for him, before we run ads, we got to have a couple of checks in the box before we run ads. If you don't have these things in place, I'm not going to take your money and run ads for you, because your ads are not going to be successful, right? Sales is a lot like that. When you're selling, you got to have some things in place, right? So remember when I talked about earlier, for those of you who are just popping in, or if you're going in and out, earlier in this broadcast, I talked about how when I work with my clients, I show them how to start out, come out of the gate with their offer. So the first thing I do with my clients is I help them to create an offer. And then the second thing I do is I help them to sell that offer to people who are already in their network, so that they can immediately get some revenue in the door. After they get some revenue coming in, and they get to a place where it's like, oh, okay, I got some money coming in. Now let me start focusing on like building up the brand. The reason why I do that is because when people already know you, you don't have to work so hard to build trust because they already know you, they're already in your network. Or they were referred to you by somebody who they trust, okay? So when they do that, they get some income in the door, they've got some sales, and then the next thing is they can start focusing on elevating their brand to where they're putting the systems in place, right? We got income into the door in the door. Now let's put some systems in place so that you can consistently get those clients flowing in. And these are the components that I'm talking about. When it comes to elevating your brand, you've got to focus on the things that are going to move the needle. Okay. Number one is going to be your content. The content that you're creating is the demonstration of who you are. And if you want people to invest with you, if you just, you know what, y'all, like I see people struggling so it's hard for a lot of people. And these are people who we should be working together, but we're not because they're focusing on the wrong things. Okay. Some people they keep going back to school and they keep getting certifications and they keep, you know, and they're working on all these things. And in my heart, I'm saying, oh, but that's not gonna bring you any income though. That's not gonna make you any money though. And they're working on stuff because they think they need it or they think it's important for their business. And when I work with my clients, we get straight to it, right? Listen, we don't need a fancy business plan. We don't need we don't need a website. This is what we need, and I help them to get straight to where the rubber meets the road, so they can start getting that income in the door. But when you're working on maintaining those things, I show you how to put those things in place, right? And so you do not need 50,000 certifications to start getting clients, okay? What you do need though is you need a process and you need to have trust with your audience, okay? So all of the things that you probably thought, oh, I need a website, oh, I need this, oh, I need that. Look, y'all, I'm telling you, I've been there and I've done that, and that's why I'm so passionate about what I talk about. My clients know I always talk about having a broke brand. You really can't have a broke brand. You can have all the pretty stuff. You can have a nice website that you paid somebody $5,000 to build for you. And you could have a certification that you paid another $5,000 for and still not be making any money. Ask me how I know. Been there and done that way too many times. So when I see my potential clients going through something like that, I'm like, oh my goodness, they're in that trap that I was once in, thinking, oh, I need to have this, I need to have that, and really didn't need any of it. Didn't need any of it. But what I needed, those are the things that I was working on. For some reason, we think we have to be perfect or we have to be you know, clothed in all these certifications, and it's not necessary. What's really necessary is that people know that you have a solution that you can help them to solve their problem. And if you're not sharing content, they won't know that. If your posts are only inspirational, they won't know that. Okay, is this making sense, y'all? Let me know in the comments. Is this making sense? If now now listen, I've had people from my public page message me and say, hey, I really love your posts, and I wake up looking, you know, looking for these motivational posts, and that's great, y'all. But the motivational post is not what's getting money in the bank. It's not what's getting money in the bank. So when you're posting, you want to be able to show people who you are. You want to be able to literally develop your thought leadership, right? You are a thought leader. Anyone who's if you're working and you are a service provider, especially if you're a coach or you want to, you know, work directly with clients, you are a thought leader. And you've got to be able to articulate what your beliefs are, because that is what's going to attract people. Okay. Yes, you're going to have your inspirational posts. As a matter of fact, I have some inspirational posts that I give to my clients, 300 inspirational posts that they can take and use. They can make it in there. They can, you know, add their own voice to it. It's white label for them. And I give them that because that's things that they can post in between their thought leadership and things like that. And so those are important, but you guys, that should not be the only thing that people see when they come to your page. People want to see how you think, what you believe, even if it's controversial, right? If Natasha says fitness should be fun, right? There's somebody who was waiting to hear that. Like, oh my gosh, I just came off this other person's page and they were saying, I can't eat this. Some people can't do health in a way that's restrictive, right? They want to enjoy it. They want to understand the importance of what they're doing. They want to have fun. And if they come from someone who's like, very, very strict, and they're saying you can't do this, you can't, some people can't operate like that, right? But when they see Natasha and Natasha saying fitness is fun, then they immediately latch on to that, right? Because they're like, yes, I finally found somebody who says what I believe. Those things that you have in your heart and in your mind that don't line up with the gurus, that's okay. You may see a guru who is teaching something, and you may be like, it does not take all that. Like it does not take all of that. Share that, talk about that, because somebody has to say it, right? And your ideal client may be like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad somebody finally I thought it was just me. I thought I was the only one. You are the leader. You are the thought leader, and you lead in your space. And only posting inspirational posts, that's not leadership. Okay. It's a part of it. But I talk about in my program, there are 4 different things that you need to have in place to really build a powerful and influential brand, right? And a part of it, y'all, is this component that I'm talking about right now. If you're creating content on a regular basis, your content can drive your sales. You can literally post your new content every single week, y'all, and that right there will get people excited about investing with you. Creating content is a part of showing up and serving your people, right? And that's what I teach. Is I teach people how to sell by serving. And when you sell by serving, it doesn't feel sleazy. You actually feel great about it, because you're serving first and then you're selling. Y'all, it's such a powerful way to sell and to get new clients, okay? And so think about this. What are your beliefs? What kind of things do you need to communicate to your audience to get them to see who you are and get excited about working with you? Renee says, will you expound on the concept of what a thought leader is and does? And so thank you for that that question, Renee. So yes, I absolutely will talk more about that. So basically, when I'm talking about thought leadership, I'm talking about a person who, based on your expertise and based on your knowledge in your space, you offer you offer guidance, you offer perspective, and what you're offering, by you offering your guidance and you offering your perspective, you're influencing other people. Okay, thought leaders are influential. Okay, and I hate to say it like this, you guys, but this is really, it's the truth. In short, people, those of us who are thought leaders, we help people we tell them what to think in a sense. And what I mean by that, have you guys ever seen like something happen that's like a big thing that's happening in the country? Have you ever seen people like, well, why didn't so and so say something, or why didn't this person say something? You guys, it's if you pay attention, you'll see people asking, well, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? People, when something happens, people pull on thought leaders to figure out what to think. And it's not that it's not that people aren't smart. It's just that people are looking for perspective. And you may say something, and some people may not agree with your perspective, but some people are going to be like, oh my gosh, yes, this is what I was thinking, but I just wasn't able to articulate it. Okay. So a thought leader is a person who is, you're constantly talking about, you're constantly offering guidance. You're influencing others. You're providing a perspective on certain things. And so, and you're going to do that based on your expertise, based on what you know, based on what you believe, based on your convictions. Okay. So for me, as a person of faith, my thought leadership is informed by my faith. Okay. So I have certain principles about business that I talk about in how I do things. And guess what? People who are who I'm called to, they identify with those things. Okay. So one of my business principles that I teach is talk to your audience. I see a lot of people that spend a lot of money to avoid talking to people, y'all. Like, for me, I cannot understand how a person can want to be a coach or want to be a consultant or want people to pay them, but don't want to talk to the people. Y'all, I can't wrap my mind around that. So when I work with my clients, I teach them how to talk to your people. And but some people do not agree with that. Some people just want to run an ad. They want to run an ad, get somebody to click on the ad, go to their video, and join their program like that. For me, I believe in talking to people. I believe in communicating with people because I want my clients to know and my ideal clients to know that I see you. I see you and I want to connect with you. And this is exactly how I am inside of my program, right? I get in my clients' business. I know what all of my clients are working on. I message them. I was just messaging one of my clients a little while ago because she was like, "Hey, she's working on selling a workshop." And I was asking her, I'm like, "Hey, well, how many people did you talk to anybody directly?" Right? Because I get in their business. Why? Because this is what they're paying for. Because I care about them and I want them to win. So everything that I do is me seeing how I can help them to get to the next level. That comes out in my teaching. Because and y'all, that's part of the reason why I get on here and go too long, y'all. I try to get on here and I try I try to not go too long. But you guys, this is how I love on you guys. When I show up here on Thursdays, I take my time. I don't rush. And I know some people are like, "Oh, I don't have time," but I don't rush and I take my time because this is one of my love languages. When I love people, I teach because I want them to be successful. I want them to win. I want them to be amazing at what they're doing. And so I take my time. I use my gift from God. I just happen to be gifted at teaching. But when I'm serving my clients, I use all of my gifts to help them to push into that next level. And I really do care about my clients and their success. But they figure that out by seeing me and coming to my workshops and seeing my content. Otherwise, they would not have invested with me, right? They had to figure that out by me talking to them and communicating. I'm cracking up, Natasha. But I love my clients. I want them to win. I genuinely do care about them, and I will tell you that a lot of the things that I always say this: my clients are so spoiled. They my clients are spoiled because a lot of the things that I give, a lot of people aren't giving this kind of stuff on this level. Okay, so I don't hold anything back. I pour out everything. But that's a business principle of mine that am able to articulate through my posts and through my thought leadership. When I talk about my clients and their successes and the things that we're working on inside of my program, then other people can see, oh my gosh, like I want that kind of I want somebody who's teaching like that. I want somebody who's delivering like that. But if you go back, you guys, if you're trying to see what this looks like, just go take a look at my Facebook page or my LinkedIn page, and you will see an example of what I mean by really allowing people to just download the essence of your brand. You cannot do that with one-dimensional posts, okay? You have to allow people to get the fullness of who you are so they can get excited about in investing with you, y'all. So this is a part of playing the long game. Thank you, Natasha. Love you. So this is the part of playing the long game, you guys. It's not a lot of people just want to just make money fast, and I can help you to do that, right? When we start out, I can help you to close some sales right away, right? When we're in this phase, when I'm in this phase with my clients, I usually just give them the plays, like, hey, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, right? But after that, now I'm going to teach you why I told you to do it that way, or why, because when we're trying to get revenue in the door, I don't have time. Y'all see how long I teach. I've been on here for 30 minutes. If you go back and look at my videos on Thursdays, they're like an hour, 45 minutes. And I've been trying to cut them shorter. But 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 y'all, so I don't have time when we're in that place to teach them every single thing. I'm just telling them what to do. Okay, do this, talk to this person, say this, do that, right? But once we get that revenue in the door, it's okay. Now you're going to understand why I told you to do it that way, or why I had you to do it like this. Thank you, Natasha. So We've got to get you to a place where your brand is elevated, right? And let me tell you guys, when people are looking to work with you, a lot of times they go and look at your personal your not just your personal profile, but any profile that they can see on social media. When I get booked on other people's podcasts or live shows or stages, guess what they ask me for? They ask me for my social media handles. They want to go and look at my social media page. You want people to have something to look at when they go and when they go and look at your page. You want them to have something to look at. And I'm telling you guys, this is a major part of what you're going to be able to do when you're actually selling, right? So if you start, if you haven't started yet, but if you start today on how to create, I call them power posts, because when you post them, it gives a powerful representation of your brand. It presents a powerful image of your brand. And I'm not talking about you have to be perfect or you have to be somebody that you're not. But when you're posting, you are giving people bits and pieces of your thoughts, your ideas, and your story, right? You can even infuse parts of your story in there. And you'll see that when I'm talking about looking on my pages for an example of what that looks like. But that's one way to elevate your brand. Now, you guys, it's one thing to know that, it's a different thing to do it. If you start posting, yeah, keep your inspirational stuff going, because you got to sprinkle that in as well. And that's important too, you guys. But what I'm seeing is that's the only thing that people do. And I did that for a long time. Okay. I did inspirational posts only for a very long time. But then I'm like, I'm not making any money, right? Because the thing is, the inspirational part is important because we people buy when they feel good, right? When people feel good, when they go to your page and they get a good feeling, people are willing to buy. When I go into the store and if they're playing good music, I stay a little bit longer, probably spend a little bit more money, right? If I go in there and I hear some oldies of y'all, like when I grew up, I always hung out around the older people. So I like old music. If I go in the store and you playing some good oldies, I might shop a little bit longer and spend a little bit more money, right? So when people feel good, we buy when we feel good. So you definitely want to keep that going because you want to inspire hope, you guys. But you also want people to get a feel for who you are, okay? So we're talking about elevating, how to elevate your personal brand. And first I talked about creating content on a regular basis. My clients already know I'm preaching this all the time. If you watch any of my live sessions, you probably heard me say this 10,000 times. If you're not already, you should be creating content on a regular basis. And this is something that I help my clients to do as well. I help create them some customized content ideas based on who they are, what kind of things they've experienced in life, their gifts. I literally help them to come up with content ideas on the spot because I know them. And I'm able to give them the ideas like based on what I see, even the stuff that they don't see. I'm able to say, you know what, you could really talk about this. And they're like, yeah, actually I could. I didn't see it that way, but actually I could. So I help them customize them some content ideas so they can show up and be their best selves. Okay. So if you're not doing it, if you're not creating content on a regular basis, this is what you need to do. You need to pick which day you're going to put out new content. You already know mine is on Thursday, so I show up live every Thursday. But you need to pick which day you're going to put out your new content, and then you need to figure out how you're going to put that new content out. Are you going to do a live video? Are you going to do a blog post? Are you going to do audio? Some people like Clubhouse and podcasts. Figure out. Listen, we got content. There are ways to release content for everybody. If you don't like video, you can do audio. You can do Clubhouse, podcasts. If you don't like, if you articulate yourself better when you write, then you can put your blog out every week. But I always encourage my clients to do video. So even when they ask me, they say something like, I already know what you're gonna say, but do you think? And I'm like, you already know I'm getting ready to tell you to do video. And the reason why I say this is because video builds trust faster. And I want them to be able to establish trust with their audience. So I'm always encouraging them to get on camera and get on video. And I can tell you honestly that even my clients who are the most afraid, they always, by the time they finish my program, they're going live. They may start out the first few months not going live because they're just so afraid. But seeing them go from being afraid to go live to blossoming into these amazing leaders in their spaces is the most incredible thing ever. So I always encourage them to show up live because that's going to build trust with their audience faster. Okay. So creating content on a regular basis. And then the second thing we talked about is really expressing your ideas and really developing your thought leadership. And it takes time, you guys. Like, imagine if you're posting every day. And sometimes, you guys, when you first start out, you may not be showing up like a guru because it takes time to develop that muscle. And be okay with that. Be okay with figuring it out, figuring out your voice. I see people hiring someone else to post for them all the time. They hire people to post for them when they don't even know their own brand voice yet. That's dangerous. Because what if that person, decides they want to quit? And then what are you going to do? What if it takes you a while to find somebody else? What are you going to do, right? You have to develop your own brand voice so that when someone comes in, when you do hire some help, you're able to guide them. You're able to teach them. When I brought a person on to help with my my social media, when I saw something and I'm like, listen, we need to take this down. This is not my voice. Or we need to reword this. This is not my voice. But over time, she started to really learn my voice. But if you don't take the time to learn your own brand voice, people can just post anything on your page and it's not a real representation of who you are. So I always recommend that you start doing your own posting. You start putting your own content together. And then when you bring somebody on, you're able to lead, right? As the boss that you've been called to be, you're able to lead and let them know, okay, this is what my brand voice looks like. But if you hire somebody too fast, then they're your brand voice, okay? So developing your thought leadership, allowing people to download your ideas, your thoughts, and the essence of who you are can go a long way and help you to close the sale. Okay. So if you need help with, if you're not creating content yet on a regular basis, shoot me a quick message. If you need help with content ideas, send me a message. Most of you guys know I'm very accessible. You can message me on LinkedIn. You can message me on Facebook. You can email me. I check all of my own emails. That's not somebody responding to you. I check all of my own emails because I like to talk to you guys and see what you're doing and know what you're working on. But if you're struggling with content ideas, just shoot me a quick message and I got some things that can help you to create content ideas pretty quickly. All right, you guys, thank y'all so much for hanging out. I really tried to not go for an hour, but I'm almost up on an hour. This has been awesome, you guys. I will see you back here at the same time in the same place next week. Y'all have a beautiful Thursday and an awesome weekend, and I'll be seeing you again soon.